Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christine from Sewing in the City, and this week I am popping in with a quick video sharing the 5 things I wish I knew before I started sewing. So let's dive in. Okay, so first, a little disclaimer, I started sewing when I was 5 years old. So this is more of a 5 things I wish that I could tell someone who's interested in getting started sewing. So first things first is you don't need all the things in order to start sewing. So besides a basic sewing machine, which you can even, when I first moved, I actually borrowed a sewing machine from my husband's aunt. So you don't even have to buy a machine at the beginning if you don't know if you're gonna like it or not. So aside from a machine, you'll need a simple iron. And then really the only tools you need a good pair of scissors, fabric scissors. You need a measuring tape or a measuring device. You need some basic pins. And one little tip I have with the pins is if you get glass head pins, you don't have to worry about melting them with the iron. So these pins are plastic, which most pins are, but you can look for glass head pins, which are just a couple of dollars more, and then you don't have to worry about melting them. So tape measure, scissors, pins, and probably buy yourself a seam ripper, and that's all you need to get started. You really don't need all those fancy gadgets. If you follow me for a while, you know I'm a pretty basic sewist. I don't really have a lot of stuff. So you don't really need a lot of stuff to sew. Okay, second tip I want to share is something that I've learned just through sewing a lot, and that is that fabric makes a huge difference in the sewing experience. So if you're like me, like I love to sew because I get in the flow, in the creative flow. It's very relaxing for me. It's a form of like therapy in a way, because I process some of my thoughts, some of the things going on. It's really meditative. So I started to be a little bit more particular about this sewing experience, like the whole act of sewing beyond just making something really fun to wear. So fabric makes a huge difference in the experience. So case in point, I have 2 Carnegie robes. These are a really great beginning sewing pattern actually. We just extended our sizes, so we go up to a 56-inch bust. So these are unisex. So this one is made from a silky fabric. You can see how it's really slippery, right? Yeah, it was really slippery to sew, and it was not that easy. It looks beautiful and elegant, but it was a different experience than sewing this one, which is a beautiful cotton poplin. Cotton poplin is seriously a dream. If I just want to make something that feels really satisfying and stays put and easy to pin, easy to press, gets good results pretty much no matter what, like very forgiving, cotton poplin is the way to go. So fabric choice makes a huge difference. The third thing I want to share is when you work with PDF sewing patterns. So PDF sewing patterns are patterns you can buy off the internet, and you get a file, you buy the PDF file, and then you can take it to either your local print shop, or you can print it at home on the 8.5 by 11 or A4 tiled papers, and you tape them all together to form your pattern. So if you are working with PDF patterns, the cool thing is that, at least I know I do with my patterns, and I know many other indie pattern companies do this as well, is layering the patterns by size. So this means that when you work with PDF patterns, you can print just your size. So I'm going to share this a little bit more deeper what I mean. So this is a commercial pattern. This is a McCall's. This is actually one of my grandmother's patterns. This really cool shirt. But just to show you, like when you buy, most patterns that have lots of different sizes, you'll have all the sizes in one. So on this, like right here, it's not too complicated on this one, but sometimes you'll have, like my patterns, for example, we have 10 sizes per pattern for our straight sizes, and actually the same with our curvy range. So if you imagine 10 of these lines all together, it can get really confusing around certain parts where they kind of intersect, right? So what you can do with PDF patterns is you have the option to just print your size, which means you get your pattern, your cutting line, and nothing else. You could also print 2 sizes if you wanted, if you need to like grade between sizes, or you want to make one for a gift and one for yourself, you can print out 2 sizes. I have a blog post that walks you through exactly how you can do this. So I'm going to drop the link below so you can check it out more. But before you print your PDF patterns, check to see if they have layers, because it will make your life so much easier. Okay, tip number 4 is really easy to remember, and it is press as you sew. So we all want to have professional looking garments, right? We don't necessarily want to rock around, looking like we're wearing something homemade in a bad way, right? And one of the ways that you can achieve a really professional look on your garments is to press them really, really well. And the best way to do this is to press your seams as you go. So if you're making a basic t-shirt like this one, let's say you sew the shoulder seams, and then the instructions tell you to sew the side seams. Well, before I sew the side seams, I'm going to take this to my ironing board, and I'm actually going to press my shoulder seams really well before I sew these. Then I would sew this seam, and I would press this. And then what happens is, okay, then you want to put in your sleeve. So this seam intersects with your sleeve as well as the underarm seam, but they're pressed really nicely. They're really smooth and really crisp. So when you intersect this seam with another piece of your garment, in this case, the sleeve, the seams are nice and smooth and really, really professional. So always press as you go. And I love my spray starch. So this is in Spanish, so I don't understand anything really, but spray starch is amazing. It just, you can use it for ironing. I use it when I final press my garments. It just gives it an extra kind of oomph of press, and it keeps it nice and crisp and firm. So that's tip number 4. Okay, tip number 5 is kind of a buzzkill, but it's worth mentioning because it happens, right? So not everything you make is going to turn out the way you imagined it in your mind. Sometimes it won't turn out at all. Even as an experienced sewist, I still have garments that don't turn out the way I thought they would. Or I make a big mistake and sew, wrong side to right side or something. Seam rippers. We have seam rippers for a reason. It's really easy to make mistakes, and it happens. It's totally normal. Okay, this is tip 5.5. It kind of goes along with tip 5, and that is celebrate. Celebrate when you make something and celebrate your wins. Sewing has given me so much confidence. Last night, I was just making these holiday napkins, and I was doing these little mitered corners, and I mean, they're pretty awesome. Not all of them turned out perfectly, but I was like, dang, that's amazing. And it just gave me so much confidence, and not every project works. Like, not everything comes to reality as we imagine it, but man, it's pretty freaking awesome to make something using your own hands, and that you can wear or you can give to people, you can enjoy, and you can just say like, hey, thanks, I made that, and have the satisfaction of making something that you love, that you made with your own hands. So that is my deep thoughts by Christine today. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you like my channel, give me a subscribe, throw me a like. Your support means so much to me. And if you have any comments about this video, drop them below. If you are interested, check out this video here, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.